I heard that you guys are moving into a condominium. My son told me about it.
Oh, yeah, we've been looking at one for a while now, and we finally decided to move into it.
You better be thankful that my son is such a good guy. I feel so bad. He must have worked his butt off to make all that money to move into those rooms. It makes me tear up even thinking about what he must have gone through. I guess that it's true that there's light at the end of the tunnel. My son finally seeing the light after working so hard.
Yes, I think so too. It feels like a dream still. We've had no one to lay up against when it came to finances. It's been a long journey, starting from a one-bedroom home in the middle of nowhere out in the country.
Are you implying something right now? It feels like you're blaming me for not helping you guys out and resenting me because of it.
No, not at all. Of course, I'd be lying if I said that I'm not jealous of those newlywed couples who get help from their parents so they can move into a nice house. But we're just happy about the fact that you're here beside us without any complications with your help.
Is that so? I feel like I had to fish that out of you, but I'll believe it as you said. You're almost making it sound like you want me to move in with you guys.
That's not exactly what I meant, but of course we'd be happy to have you over anytime.
Wow, look at you get startled by what I just said. Is it that scary that I might come live with you guys? Mason's my only son. I don't have any other children other than him. And as his wife, you've never thought about the day that I'll come to live with you guys due to getting older? The more I get older, the more I lose my energy. Do you not feel bad that I'm starting to suffer with just being alive? My honest feelings are that I want to come live with you guys, get some help with living for the rest of my life, see you guys be good kids toward me, and enjoy being in the presence of my grandchildren.
Helen, you're only 65. There's nothing wrong with your health as of now. Don't you think that it's a little too early to be talking about us taking you in?
You are sounding a little condescending with your words. Don't you feel it yourself? Do I need to be sick and old to move in with my son? You already don't want me to live with you guys when I'm still healthy and able to move around on my feet by myself. How could I be so sure that you'd want to take me in with my son if I got sick and so old that I can't even move on my own? Am I wrong about this? I can already hear you brainstorming and rolling around trying to figure something out so that you won't have to let me live with you guys.
That's not what I'm doing right now. It's just not easy to add another person to the family because we haven't done that since day one. The reason why we moved over here is that we needed a bigger house. The kids are getting older and older. After they hit puberty, they've been being headstrong about wanting their rooms, so I had to give each of them their own room. There aren't any other rooms left open for you to move in.
Be quiet! In what world do people not have the same problems that you do? Do you need to come up with all these excuses and say this and that, all because you don't want me to come live with you guys? Can you not be a little more open-minded and just accept that your mother-in-law wants to come live with you? What I don't understand is why you're so nosy about what I want to do with my son. Is it wrong that a mother wants to come live with her son in his house? What a disgrace! I wonder if people born in your generation all go to the same school to learn how to talk back to their elders. They think their elders are a joke and have no respect for them these days. It's so shameful to watch.
I'm trying to explain to you what the situation is looking like and why it's a little difficult for you to move in. But if you're just going to disregard and ignore whatever I say, what am I supposed to do? You're going as far as to insult me, make me look like some person who doesn't care about people who need some help. Also, it's not just your son's house. It's also the wives' and the children's house, too. I'll try to talk about it with Mason and the kids and see what they think. I'll text you back.
Make sure you raise those children right and teach them manners and good morals. You think you'll stay young forever, don't you? But don't get it wrong. The next thing you know, as soon as you get caught up, you'll find out that you've become an old grandma. Don't be lazy with raising my grandchildren right and keep an eye on them. Do you understand?
I'm an ordinary woman who's been married for the past 20 years. My husband and I have 2 kids, one in high school and the other in middle school. When I first got married, I was afraid of my mother-in-law because she's always been like a tiger, fierce and stubborn. I couldn't even make eye contact with her back then. Whenever there would be important holidays like Thanksgiving, I'd have my firstborn in my arms and the other on my back, making food and preparing for the holidays. I'd do the same for Helen's birthdays too. Not only that, but she'd make me show up twice every single week and help her clean around the house, make food, and do the laundry. There were many days when she'd make me hand wash the laundry, including her underwear. I thought that was what everybody did back then, and I felt bad that Helen had to be widowed at a fairly young age because my father-in-law passed away early on in my marriage. I tried my best to do everything in her favor so that she won't fall into depression or feel lonely after his death. However, my children grew more and more as time passed by, and when that happened, my husband and I decided that it was best for me to start working because the expenses were becoming bigger and bigger. I asked Helen if she could babysit them just for the time being that I'm at work, but she refused my request on the spot. She told me, "You had those kids, so you take care of them. Are you in your right mind to ask your old mother-in-law to babysit 2 kids?" She openly showed that she didn't want to help me out with that, but I let it slide because I tried to understand where she was coming from. After all, everyone has their problems in their lives. Whenever I think about those days when I would work at a factory all day while taking care of 2 children, it makes me tear up. Even though Helen has been pretty unhelpful in that aspect, I still wanted to show my gratitude to her and send her $1,000 to her bank account every month. When she would tell me that she was sick or somewhere hurts her body, I'd throw everything aside and take her to the hospital and keep her company. But now that I don't want her to move in with us into her home, she wants to forget about everything that she did to me and the things that I did for her, and make me look like the bad daughter-in-law. As I was thinking about how to deal with this, I came back home from work one day to find that Helen had moved into our house with all of her stuff in her hand. "Mason, when you get off work, can you come straight back home? Your mom told me that you've given her permission to move into our house. Is this true? She's here now."
Well, what was I supposed to tell her? I can't say no to her moving in when she's old and weak.
You should have at least talked about it with me. What am I supposed to do with her when she just comes into our home all unexpectedly?
Why are you talking like that? It's as if she bombarded our home or something. Is this how you talk about your mother-in-law?
There are only 3 rooms in this house. We use one of them, and Evie and Jonah use the other 2. Where is she gonna sleep?
Then just make Jonah and Evie share the rooms together. If they use one of the rooms together and have my mom use the other, what's the big deal?
How can you make 2 siblings, already in their teenage years, share a room? They're too big now to be sharing a room.
Then what do you want me to do about it? Just have mom sleep in the living room for tonight then.
And you're fine with letting an elderly person sleep in the living room? How about we let her sleep in our room for tonight? We can sleep in the living room.
Hell no, I can't sleep on that couch. Just tell mom to sleep on the couch in the living room. I'm busy right now, so stop bugging me, and I'll see you later at home. See you.
Mason! Helen, can you please open this door? I know you're inside the house. Why did you change the locks to the door? I don't think I need to explain to you how rude and ridiculous that is.
I changed it to not have you inside of the house. Don't you get it?
What are you talking about? Why can't I go inside of my own house with my own free will?
Whose house are you calling this? This is my son's house that he bought with his money. You've been able to live like a queen or whatever thanks to my son working like a slave out there, and you wanted to have the audacity of making your mother-in-law sleep in the living room? I have never heard of such a thing happening. You do me dirty like that and want to come back into the house? No, I don't approve of that at all. Get out of here. Also, I need you to get a divorce from my son. I can't live with a wretch like you. You treated me like a peasant, and I don't appreciate that. I have no business dealing with a bug like you, so get out of my sight.
I get that you're upset and angry at me, but this is way too much. How can you say something like that? I don't think you're starting to catch dementia at that age, so what is going on with you? I've had enough and lived enough. Besides, my kids are already in high school and middle school. I'm not going to tear up and cry when you yell at me anymore. I'm not that same daughter-in-law that said, "Yes, ma'am," if you told me to get out of the house like I used to. It's unbelievable that you'd act out like this just because you had to sleep in the living room for one night. It's astonishing. What was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to make you sleep with my husband in our room?
What's so wrong with that? Is it that weird that a mom sleeps with her son in the same bed as him? Is there a law saying that I can't do that? Also, do you think that I'm being like this because you made me sleep in the living room last night? I've never thought of you as my daughter-in-law. Not once, ever since 20 years ago when you got married to Mason. What did you do for me until now? You've never given me anything more expensive than $200 on my birthday, and for my 60th birthday you gave me $3,000 and called it a day. Other people get to go on trips and travel the world because their son and their daughter-in-law do them justice. But you've done nothing like that for me. You've never even done or given me anything worthwhile.
I've never gone traveling like that in my whole life either. If you wanted to, shouldn't you make the money yourself to do that? When Mason and I got married, you were just 45. You haven't worked a single day as far as I know ever since. I've given you $1,000 each month even though my family's also struggling. Why are you dismissing that part?
Everybody does that for their in-laws. Don't act like you're doing me a huge favor. Anyway, I stand by what I said. I can't live with you anymore, so get divorced from Mason and get out of this house. There can only be one breadwinner in the household, and there can't be more than one woman in the kitchen. There can't be two suns up in the sky. So you get out of this house. I'm going to enjoy my life with my grandchildren, which are our bloodline. So dismiss yourself while you are permitted to.
I don't think I want to do that.
What did you just say?
I was the one that made most of the money to move into this house. It was the result of my going to the factory and working for the last 16 years. I didn't spend any money on anything that wasn't needed. This house is under my name, which I bought with my own money. How can you tell the owner of the house to leave?
What? Why are you claiming that this house is yours? Mason told me that the house was under his name. I'm sure of it.
I guess he wanted to show off since he's the man or whatever, and you took it in just as he said it. I'm going to repeat myself one more time, but I bought this house with my money. Mason only helped out with a small portion of it.
Now you're just flat out lying. How much money could you have made working at a factory to get into a condominium? My son is the one that goes to work at a big company and makes the big bucks. There's no way that it was you that made the money, so stop lying and making a fool out of yourself.
Your son is all bark and no talk. He's no more or less than that. When he gets his paycheck, all he contributes to the family is $500, and he even makes me give you the $1,000 out of my paycheck. I must be the only wife in this entire world who's never even seen a picture of her husband's paycheck statement. I didn't want to get divorced because I didn't want my kids to become fatherless. I made all of the money to get the kids their clothes to wear, food to eat, and supplies to buy for school. I saved up every little penny that I could to get this house. Do you get it now?
Is that true? Well, then where did all of that money that Mason makes go to?
Why are you asking me that? Go ahead and ask the greatest son alive in existence where he put all that money. I asked him if he could chip in just $1,000, but he refused right off the bat and said he has no money saved up at all. I don't understand how you raised him, but he has no idea what saving and budgeting are. I want to ask you what happened on that part.
There's no way that's true. Mason is the smartest and the most deep, thoughtful person that I know.
There were many times that I wanted to leave this useless man, but I let it slide because of our kids. But now it's different. I'm glad that you brought it up. If you want me to get divorced from him, then so be it. I'll agree to get a divorce with him, so please kindly hold your son's hand and get out of my house.
What did you just say? Is this how you talk to your mother-in-law? Where am I supposed to go anyway?
I don't care about that. If you want to go live in the streets or find a shelter, go ahead and find one. Once Mason and I get divorced, you'll be nothing but just some old granny on the streets. So I'll call you just that. You selfish and psychopathic woman. Stop acting as if you rule over me because you don't anymore at least. Take your belongings and leave. If you don't want to end up in jail and eat slop for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, please get out of my house now.
Wait just a minute, June. I don't understand what's going on. This is not what I expected was going to happen. I think there might be some misunderstanding going on. How can you get divorced from Mason? You have 2 kids with each other. Don't you think that's a little too hasty? Can't you see how difficult it is to live and work as a single woman with 2 kids? Just look at me. I've struggled so much after your father-in-law passed away. I think I got a little too full of myself because I wanted to live in a nice condo in a big room. I understand that I overstepped my place a little. So, could you forgive me this one time? I'll take my stuff and go back to my house now. So, please don't get divorced from Mason.
No, I don't think so. Mason has been of no help ever since the beginning. It doesn't matter, and it never did if he was present or not. The kids are pretty much all grown enough to understand what business we have going on over here, and I'm sure that they'll understand where I'm coming from. I'm not afraid of anything. I'll give your son back to you, so have fun with him and live a beautiful life. After everything that happened, I got divorced from Mason and even got custody of both of my kids. Mason refused to get a divorce with me and tried his best to stay inside of the house, but I asked him to quit being an embarrassment to our kids. Evie and Jonah even got on him about how he should just let Mom go. He's already done enough to have put Mom through a hard time. He seemed to give up when he heard his own children's disappointment towards him and went ahead to get a divorce from me. He went back and started living with Helen, but not even a month later I got a call from Helen about how he would only give her $300 a month to live off of. He was using the rest of the money for his good. Lord knows what he's doing with that money. She got tired of him very quickly and asked me to get remarried to him and take him back in. However, I was stern with her and refused to get remarried to Mason. I mean, at the end of the day, who'd want to take in a man that not even his mother wants to take in? Either way, now that I got rid of the 2 most stressful factors in my life, I've been able to enjoy the freedom that I've gained back. I'm living a very peaceful and ordinary life with my 2 kids, working hard as usual.
Mateo, I just sent you some vegetables I harvested from the field. I think this year's crop turned out quite well. Let me know what you think once you've had a chance to taste them.
Thanks, sis. Any recommendations on what to try first?
I'd have to say the asparagus. It took some time to grow them.
Wow, I'm looking forward to trying them. Thanks for sending so much. It's really helpful. Recently, vegetables have become expensive. I can't afford to buy them much.
Sure, prices have risen, but aren't there still vegetables within your budget? Isn't the supermarket near your house fairly cheap?
Ah, yes. That's true, but I'm barely making ends meet.
That much? Should I send some more then? I only give out the good-looking ones since I grow them as a hobby. If you don't mind ones that look a little off, I have plenty more.
Really? I have some. I'm really happy. I'm really sorry for all the trouble.
Oh, it's nothing. Your company is quite big, isn't it, Mateo? You and your wife Ruby live together. Does it really cost that much to live?
When you get married, there are always things that cost money. We aren't both working, you know. Ruby isn't very strong, right?
Ah, right. You mentioned she's frail. So part-time work is out of the question?
It seems so, but I'll do my best. I knew this when I married her, so I have to be the one to earn money. I've been studying to take on a part-time job recently.
A part-time job is good, but don't overdo it. You just got married, so your health is the most important. That's why good food and sleep are the most important.
Yes, I understand. I won't do anything that will make me sick.
Oh, I also got some strawberries from a neighbor. I should have sent those too. Should I send them now?
No, it's fine. As long as it's not too much trouble for you, sis. I have to get back to work soon.
Understand, but please contact me if you really need help. Our parents have passed away, so I'm the only one you can rely on, right? My husband will also help, so don't hesitate.
Thank you, but I'll do my best as much as possible. I'm sorry for causing you worry. Talk to you later.
Hello, Cora! Thank you, always, for sending the vegetables. Hello, Ruby. It's okay. I enjoy sending them. I'm spacing out the deliveries, is that okay? Please let me know if you think it's too much. No, it's always just the right amount. It's very helpful. I just received some cabbage and carrots. Sorry if they don't look very good. No, not at all. We always enjoy eating them. But seeing the vegetables you grow, I've become a little interested myself. Really? In farming? I'm not quite ready for that yet. I'm thinking of starting a home garden. That sounds good. There are quite a few things you can grow easily. And more than anything, growing them is fun. If you start and encounter any difficulties, feel free to consult with me. Thank you. I'm not strong enough to work. I hope to be a little support to Mateo. Oh, but it will cost money to get the tools. Actually, I heard a little from my brother. Life is tough. I see. As we get older, we have more weddings and funerals to attend. And there are a lot of irregular things. I really feel how hard it is just to live. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have intruded on your family affairs. But I'm worried because my brother tends to overdo things. Money issues can be stressful. Ruby, you're having a hard time too, aren't you? Are you okay? Compared to Mateo, it's nothing. So I secretly started a part-time job recently. Really? You haven't told my brother? Yes, not yet. But there are many days when I feel unwell and I can't earn at all. I wonder when the day will come when I can tell him about this. I see. Cora? I'm really embarrassed to ask this, but could you give us a little help? I'm worried about Mateo. I thought about asking my parents, but they're very strict. They might tell us to divorce. I don't mind helping, but when I asked Mateo before, he refused. Is that so? Yes, he said he wants to try a little harder himself. Oh, Mateo. If he hears that I asked for help, he might get angry. Mateo is kind. I don't think he'll get angry. But he might blame himself. Would it be difficult to give us some help secretly? I don't mind helping, but because it's about money, wouldn't it be better to discuss it with Mateo first? Then he might not accept it. Mateo is trying hard with his other job now. I'll start repaying the money little by little soon. So could you please help us? I want to support him from behind for that time. Even if it's for a short time, please be there for him. I see, but I can only afford about $500 per month. Is that alright? Yes, that's fine. With $500, I can feed my husband a little bit better.
I'll send the money soon.
Thank you. I'll send you the bank account number later.
Ruby, I'm sorry for the hardship.
No, I chose Mateo. I don't regret it.
He may be a bit unreliable, but Mateo is very kind. Please support him.
I got it. Leave it to me. I will do my best with what I can.
Morning, sis. Thanks for yesterday. I was able to relax for the first time in a while.
Really? You rushed off, didn't you?
I stopped by during a business trip. I couldn't stay long.
Maybe, but... Oh, did you get home?
No, not yet. I'm taking a break in a highway parking area right now. But I was able to have a nice meal and I feel revived. Sis, thank you always.
Hey, Mateo. You were crying when you ate, weren't you?
That's because the homemade food from my sis was so good. I was moved.
But you said it had been a while since you had a human meal, right? Hey, something happened, didn't it? You evaded the question yesterday, but I'm still concerned.
I'm fine.
My husband was worried about you. You've lost a lot more weight than before.
You're worrying too much.
Then don't make yourself look like you need to be worried about. And what do you usually eat? I did make a bit of an effort to cook because Mateo was coming yesterday, but isn't Ruby making homemade food for you?
Well, yes.
And I'm sending vegetables and stuff. So haven't things gotten a little easier than before?
I wonder. Well, I'm fine.
Mateo, has life really not changed from before?
Well, it's so-so.
Don't dodge the question. I'm really serious.
Sis, it's my fault that my income is low, so I have to work hard.
You're working hard enough, aren't you? Why don't you take a look at your living expenses once in a while? You might not want me to be nosy about money, but I'll introduce you to a financial planner I know. You're not in debt, are you?
I'm not in debt.
But like I said before, I can't believe life has gotten this hard on Mateo's salary. I wonder why it's become like that.
I'm sorry.
Ugh, why are you apologizing? I don't want an apology. I want a solution.
I might be done for.
What happened?
Everything was a lie.
What do you mean by a lie?
About Ruby.
Did something happen to Ruby?
Ruby isn't particularly weak. She just doesn't want to work, so she made it like that. And the struggle with living expenses are all due to Ruby's spending.
Do you mean Ruby is spending money?
After we got married, Ruby started to change gradually. About half a year ago, she started saying that I was an ATM. Of course, we talked about it many times, but by the time I realized it, it was too late.
What do you mean it's too late?
I can't stand up to Ruby.
What can I do?
But I said I would make everyone happy at the wedding. And you even paid for the wedding, sis. We were blessed by everyone and received various amounts of money. I feel so guilty about getting a divorce.
But if there's no love, shouldn't you break up?
I didn't know anymore. I was just doing my best to listen to Ruby. I think I might be messed up.
Mateo, you should take a break for a while.
But the company.
Never mind that. It'll work out somehow. When I saw you yesterday, you were completely worn out and had no spirit. I was really worried.
I'm sorry for causing trouble. I'm an adult, but I'm a pathetic man.
Anyway, come back home right now and talk about everything that has happened and rest properly. Hello, Ruby. Is it a good time? Hello, Cora. I was just about to contact you. I can't reach Mateo. Is he still in the hospital? Yes, he is. He hasn't been getting better. It seems he needs a bit more rest. Is that so? I'm sorry. Even though I was with him, I let Mateo collapse from overwork. And you've been supporting us, Cora. Yes, that's why I was surprised. He should have been able to eat proper meals. My brother has lost 22 pounds compared to before. Really? Since we were together every day, I didn't notice that he lost that much weight. When he comes back, I'll make sure he eats nutritious food. No, it's okay. You're probably only going to feed him useless food, aren't you? Excuse me? What do you mean?
Weeds or your leftovers.
What kind of food are you feeding my brother? I've heard everything. You've been using most of my brother's salary to buy whatever you want, haven't you? What are you talking about? I didn't do that. I've been monitoring your behavior for the past week. You get up in the afternoon, order food delivery, go out to play in the evening, go shopping and bar hopping. You've been spending my brother's hard-earned money like water, and yet you feed him garbage. What do you think my brother is? Well, that can't be helped. With my husband's low salary, I can't buy brand items unless I save. It's not my fault, it's Mateo's fault for not earning money. What? How can you not think you're the one at fault? Mateo promised to make me happy when we got married. So shouldn't Mateo be the one to make an effort? You must be out of your mind. It takes mutual effort to make a marriage happy. I married him because he works at a big company. But in reality, he has a poor salary which shocked me. This is fraud, isn't it? You're impossible. I heard that after getting married, you gradually started being violent towards him, both verbal and physical, wasn't it? Because of that, Mateo is now seeing a psychiatrist. Isn't he in the hospital? I heard he collapsed on a business trip. No, I called Mateo home to keep him away from you. Then please bring Mateo back home soon. He hasn't been home for a week. Payday is coming up soon, and I need money. Mateo is not coming back. He says he's getting a divorce from you. Are you kidding? Please let me talk to Mateo. You think that if you talk to Mateo, he won't oppose you. But the doctor told him to avoid contact with you, so it's impossible. But I can't get a divorce in this situation, can I? Because Mateo is mentally exhausted, right? It's amazing you can laugh after what you've done. You've taken money from me, and you think you're going to be forgiven? But there's no IOU. You're a really terrible person. I won't hold back anymore. I'm going to make you take responsibility. What responsibility are you talking about? Obviously, it's the responsibility for hurting Mateo. It's not just about money that I've learned from monitoring you for the past week. I also know you have a lover, and your lover is married too, right? I wonder what would happen if I contacted his wife. I don't have such a person. Do you? I know you're having secret meetings at hotels. It seems you both are careful because you're married. But I asked a professional to monitor you. The evidence of your adultery is also neatly recorded. Are you going to show it to the wife of my lover? Yes, and also to your parents. I heard they're strict, so I wonder what will happen. Your behavior towards your husband, your wasteful spending, and then adultery? I'm looking forward to what comes next. Wait a minute. Please don't tell my parents. They're the kind of people who casually use corporal punishment. But didn't you do the same to Mateo? You kicked him, threw things at him, didn't you? I'll apologize to Mateo. Please, just don't do that. Cora, please. I'll do anything, even kneel. The first thing you need to do is to divorce, and then you have to pay Mateo alimony. But alimony? I don't have any savings and I can't pay. You can sell the things you've bought so far and it will help a bit, right? You seem to have a lot. If you sell everything, you'll have a reasonable amount of money. No, but there are things I've bought with great effort. Then I'll go ahead and report as it is. I will somehow make money. From now on, I'll work little by little and pay it back. So please, please don't tell my parents. You think I'll believe your lies? This time it's true, so please believe me. I'm sorry. I've been deceived by you many times before. I've already made arrangements. What do you mean? Your parents just arrived there. They also have evidence of your infidelity, so please take responsibility for what you've done. No way! Are you lying? Stop joking! Cora, please correct it to my parents. There's nothing to correct, is there? This is a result of your neglecting to make an effort in your marriage. There's no one left who's on your side. Reflect on how you've hurt my family. And then Ruby was beaten by her in-laws and signed and handed over the divorce papers. Ruby's parents were indeed quick to use their hands, and it seems they didn't raise her in a commendable way. I feel sorry for her in that respect, but they're strict people, so they've settled the matter of compensation properly. Also, since I sent evidence of the adultery to the family of the lover, it seems there was a battlefield there as well. I heard that Ruby is now working around the clock under her parents' supervision, paying for the alimony and repaying me. A mutual friend of my brother saw Ruby once, and I heard she had lost a lot of weight and didn't look like she used to. Even so, I don't feel sorry for her. She's just in the same state as my brother. I don't know how much debt she still owes to her parents, but I hope she works hard and takes responsibility on her own. On the other hand, my brother has gained weight by taking a slow rest and has returned to his previous bright face. He now doesn't understand why he was under Ruby's control, and it seems his emotional wounds are healing. Also, I heard that Ruby was throwing away the vegetables I sent, and she was purposely limiting my brother's meals to a minimum. My brother felt sorry for me about that, didn't want me to know, and couldn't say anything. I think he thought that if he endured it because he knew about Ruby's family situation. It's probably because my brother is too kind that Ruby was controlling his life. He's going to return to work next month, so I think I'll let him rest at home until then. I'm a little worried, but I think he'll be fine when I see him now. I intend to keep watching over my brother, who has overcome so much, from behind the scenes.